Welcome! There is a game that is filled with bugs. Cute bugs, tiny bugs, warrior bugs, even scary bugs. And somewhere along the way, it became an indie gaming legend. This is the saga of the game called Hollow Knight. It looks like a kid's game, it plays like an old game, and yet those who played it talk about it with nothing but high praise. Why? Let's get started. The game decides to open with a poem that will only make sense much later, and just to keep the right amount of mystery, it throws some imagery that makes as much sense as the poem. Somebody waking up, somebody chained, and they're sealed away. And finally there he is. But who is this tiny wanderer? Eyes of the void, pale as the moon, sword on his back. Without a word, the fearless knight jumps forward, and here I go. It's a simple game in nature. I jump, I slash, I go forward, and I collect, like extra life points or little rock coins. Yet, games like this are never quite simple. If the ground gives in, if a passage is too high, if a gap is too large, I have to find a way to make progress. Doesn't take me much to find it this time, since this is a tutorial of sorts, and to close it, there's a stone memorial advising I'm about to enter a hollow nest, the Eternal Kingdom. I break down the gates and jump again, ready to face dangers unknown. But instead, I find a silent town with only a lonely old beetle to greet me. It seems like everybody left to search for the old kingdom below, so that's where I'm headed to. These roads are filled with enemies, but not only. Like the elder bug mentioned, some left to explore the ruins, and eventually I meet Quirrell, an adventurer also drawn to the old kingdom's mysteries. Then there's Cornifer, a bug obsessed with mapping the old kingdom. He's happy to sell his maps, and I'm happy to buy them, because it's easy to get lost in here. As I go along checking the map and facing whatever these ruins throw at me, I find yet another friendly face. Back in the old days, everyone in the kingdom relied on the stag beetle stations to move around. Ring the bell, and here comes the last stag. A very nostalgic and proud beetle that offers to take me wherever I need to go. Good opportunity to track back and check a couple of things. First, I found a charm, which grants me powers when I sit to equip it. Second, Cornifer's wife Zelda opened up her shop and I can buy a magic pin that tracks me on the map. This makes it easier to go back down and find my first boss battle. And if up to this point all you see is a cute kid's game, nah. Some of the boss fights will make you rage quit. Not this one though. This one's a warm-up. And a funny one on top of that. There, done. And past the gate, I find a bug that seems to be dreaming. I wake him up, he seems to be okay, and runs back to the village so he can sell me some useful stuff. He's only one in a long line of bugs I need to rescue in this game, like these caterpillars waiting to go back to their grandpa. But moving forward, I end up meeting the False Knight. Now this is a proper boss. He's got a ton of different attacks and I only have a tiny sword. Takes a whole lot of patience to take him down. But down he goes, and there's an explosion of, stuff, and he drops something important. This also opens the way forward and the path to the shaman, a strange and shady snail that willingly teaches me how to use the spirits of vengeance to fight back. Essentially, I now shoot a ghost out of my chest. With the new attack, I'm ready for the challenges of the new area. Faster enemies, even boiling toxic waters, but also a figure that keeps dodging me? Well, I don't have the time for this, and I find Cornifer again, so I'll extend the map. This way, I can try to find secret rooms for extra coins, charms, and so on. But it's also how I find alternative ways to reach the other areas and rescue more bugs. Heading back, I finally catch up to Ornit. Honestly, one of the coolest characters and such a fan favorite, she got her own game. She backs off and I grab an essential skill from a very familiar looking corpse. Cool, I can dash. What I can't do is relax, because these guys show up and out of nowhere put me to sleep. They don't work though, so again, time to go forward, or better yet, back to the places where I can now dash through. For those who never played games like this, the back and forth may look annoying, but almost always means a useful reward. Oh, and this area also hides the Hunter, who, like a maniac's version of Catch-em-all, wants me to hunt all the other bugs and write it down on a journal. From this point, the game doesn't really create a lot of new mechanics. Explore, collect stuff, defeat tougher enemies, travel back for more upgrades. Though, that doesn't mean there isn't always something adding on to the game. For example, there's more than health and magic upgrades. The dash move lets me reach a merchant that sells charms and charm slots. There is a catch though. To get more charm slots, I need to find more charms, and they're pretty expensive. Time for a little grinding or collect the rewards for saving the caterpillars. which is faster and may include health upgrades. And then, time to go forward, or deep down below, through new areas, new enemies, meeting new friendly bugs, and even not so friendly bugs like this other charm merchant. Though those are the nice things. The downside to the games we call Metroidvania is that at some point the progress suddenly stops, and either the friendly faces or the surroundings share any relevant information on how to move on. But that's okay. It's just a part of how the game challenges the player to go explore whenever they get stuck. So I backtrack a lot and find secrets, places I hadn't been to before, and even take a look at the killing checklist. Eventually, dodging the weird jellyfish, I do find a way forward, to Queen Station, right before the capital. Coral found his way here, there's someone having fun eating stuff from the walls, and the last stag beetle is happy to find that the station is open once again. Oh, and there's also a banker? This greedy bug offers to save my coins for a fee. I'll pass. And of course Cornifer is here too, ready to share a map of the area. And then I got lost again, but that just meant more exploring. Special charms, fat coin stashes, and optional bosses that dropped some nice loot when defeated. Took me a while, but here's the last piece of the health upgrade. Can't say I won't need it where I'm going. Back on track, I finally reached the heart of the kingdom. Hornet just bolts over the sludge, but I need something to help me cross. And that thing just happens to be hidden in a tribal warrior village. This isn't it. Ah, there we go. Now I can climb walls. But look at those numbers, I'm loaded. Let me spend it on something, like a lamp for the darker areas of the game. And it's exploring those areas that I end up finding a monument to the Dreamers, aka the guys that tried to put me to sleep before. Apparently they're very upset with me for trying to interfere with their duty of protecting something. Look, I'm just a tiny guy trying to find out what happened, can't we just talk about it? Apparently not, because this time, instead of making me sleepy, they banished me to the Shadow Realm. Sucks to be them though, because landing here was the opportunity that this spirit moth was waiting for to offer a weapon that holds the power to take the Dreamers down. Wakey wakey, it's time for revenge. The moth that was looking over me while I was KO educates me on what's the deal with the Dreamers, but also how this peculiar weapon works. Honestly, it's good for three things: invading minds, talking with the dead, and collecting lost essence that I can trade for rewards. Yes, I said invading minds, which is pretty cool. Stabbing a character with the Dream Nail lets me read their mind, but stabbing the remains of a main boss like the False Knight lets me reach them beyond death. I can then cry in anger as I try to fight the boss's dream version of our fight. And it's this power to reach beyond death that allows me to talk with the dead. Then I can find monuments of old warriors and challenge them for their essence. Of course, they're not ready to make it easy for me, which makes every one of these encounters a lot of fun. So there, yet another thing to do. And what does that mean? More exploring and backtracking to search for lost essence, or going back to a monument I didn't understand what it was for, but now know it's for a mini boss fight. And there's still so much to talk about regarding this game. For example, unlocking sword combos isn't about items or experience. I need to explore the map and find the hidden sword masters to have them teach me. Oh, and what about the fact I can win the respect of the Mantis warriors? This actually surprised me. I ended up finding the Mantis lords, and when I beat them, the whole tribe bows down and stops attacking me. Even something as simple as going to the mines and unlocking the crystal heart to then just blast across the map like a rocket. It's such a unique feeling. And the game just keeps adding more lore, more characters, and more reasons to go back and explore new parts of the map, which may come across as boring and repetitive on some games. Not Hollow Knight though. It's a true Metroidvania. It's got the Metroid action, it's got the Castlevania mood. Honestly, it honors those games and goes one step beyond. Sure, the characters look a little too cute, but the story hiding behind it goes deep, not to mention it has multiple endings that depend on what I do in the game, and the free content updates just made these better and better. So, for all of these things I just mentioned, it's easy to understand why everyone that played it will tell you this game will be remembered as an indie legend. Thank you for joining me on the saga of Hollow Knight. Smash that like button like you saw a bug going on top of it. Though, what I'd really like is your opinion. What do you feel about the term Metroidvania, or about this game? Add to the saga. If you don't like bugs, even the cartoon ones, go on my other videos and find a game you like. While you're at it, if you do find a video you did enjoy and think my content is good, then go subscribe. I appreciate the support. Something bugging you? take a break and scroll through my stuff on social media. That's all for the night. See ya.